So, The Matrix Resurrections has arrived. And I watched it on HBO Max and fell asleep. So, I had to pick up where I left off the next day. It's not very good. Now, the fear was it was just going to be this woke thing. And there was this article, I think literally in the title from, what was it, IGN, where it said this was like a Last Jedi style, sequel. Not really. Because, The Last Jedi was just brutal to the original material and whatnot. Some of this was, looking at the trailer and stuff, thought, well, they're going to do it to where they mess with it to say that the original trilogy didn't happen at all. They don't. It appears like it's going to be that way. And I'm spoiling everything. So, yeah, if you don't want to hear it, then I guess this is the end of the video for you. But Neo is living back in the Matrix and apparently is this game developer who has done very well and is responsible for the video game series of The Matrix. And this is one of the elements where they try to be really cute and that like they're breaking the fourth wall and discussing that Warner Brothers wants a sequel to The Matrix, and and so he's supposed to develop this fourth game and all that. But it's just thrown in there for that and that alone. It really doesn't matter. All of this is just setting up the fake life that he has back in the Matrix. So a new generation of people coming to free him show up, and they know who he is, and they break him out, and it all comes back to him. And there's no Zion anymore. They abandoned it for a new city. So some of the elements that's just tossed around for backstory sounded like it had more ground for something more interesting to pursue. A lot of the problems for The Matrix is it's basically a one-hit wonder, and that's it. In the first movie, they could never match it. Following that, they didn't know where else to go. Obviously, it's just, the humans win in the end, and that's about it. Well, there's no other cool questions or whatnot put in there. And eventually it gets tiresome anyway. What are you going to do? You're just going to say, well, how do you know that the post-apocalyptic world isn't just another part of the Matrix? And they're not really, but eventually there's a real world somewhere. It doesn't really matter anymore. So, what's the deal here? How is he there? Wasn't he dead at the end? Apparently he was, but resurrection. So basically, Neo and Trinity have been resurrected by the machines, by this new program who took over, who apparently surpassed the architect and is now in charge. It's played by Doogie Howser, Neil Patrick Harris, as the program called The Analyst, who poses as Neo's therapist in this. And he created a new Matrix. So the Matrix doesn't look like 1999 anymore. It looks like today. So, because it's just too hard to recreate the 1990s, You're bound to get it wrong. Whatever. And so now they've upgraded a lot of things. You don't need a phone to get out of it. You can use a mirror, which is a callback to the Looking Glass and Alice and all that. And so this new analyst is in charge, and for whatever reason took the Agent Smith program and redesigned him as Neo's boss at this fake company. And of course the Agent Smith program knows he's Agent Smith, which now Agent Smith became the big threat at the end of the original trilogy, so much so that the Matrix, or the machines themselves, formed a truce with Neo in order to stop him from taking over. He was just absorbing everything, and the whole Matrix was just him at the end, until Neo destroyed him. And but they took the program and redid it, put it in there. That doesn't really work. And then it's just, ultimately he joins Neo's side, and to defeat the analyst, seemingly killing the analyst, then disappears, and the analyst isn't dead. So, Of course, they go through the fights, but most of it is constant scenes of trying to be silly and cute. You have young Morpheus, but he's not really Morpheus. He's just a computer program based on Morpheus. Morpheus is dead. It's 60 years into the future. Neo was resurrected by the machines. I forget. He explains it why he needed them, because there's a certain amount of energy and power between Neo and Trinity that he wanted to make use of. And so he resurrects both of them, because Trinity was definitely dead. Neo is laying on the ground after his battle with Agent Smith at the end of Matrix 3. And so maybe he was or not. But basically, they say they resurrected him. They show him Neo being dissected and stuff. And it's Neo's body, because at one point you see the process where they're putting him back together. And one eye is fixed and the other one is still scorched by his attack with Agent Smith in the real world, where he was blinded, So somehow, and they're highly advanced technology. So it's not, that far-fetched that they have this ability to restore them. He says it was a tough process. I imagine Trinity could have been even more hard to do, since she was impaled several times over in the ship, But they did, and they put him back in there for whatever reason that this accumulates Neo's power and Trinity's power. Because Trinity, that aspect, all this was leaked, and it's all true. But most of it, from what I recall, from, I guess it was on Reddit or what have you. And that he keeps trying to fly, but he can't quite do it. His other aspects of his power does appear, and kind of a new power where he's almost got repulsor rays. But he can't fly. And so at the last minute, they really need to, or they're going to be captured and all that. And so they both, hand in hand, leap off the building. And then, Trinity is the one who's flying. And she's, so there you go. Later on, they're both flying and acting cool and stuff and laughing at the analyst. And, we won, you lost. And the end. There's a dumb in-credit teaser. Don't bother. It's stupid. And that's it. The problem here is they spend an awful lot of time on Neo and getting him back, which is just a repeat of the original movie, only really badly. And the new characters are just there. They don't really matter all that much. They tease like they're going to, but they never really do. The only difference is, we've made an alliance with the machines. So they have machines living with them in their new human city that's hidden and all that. Which is a problem. I mean, the Matrix, the bad machines, because easily rewrite those creatures and turn them on them, and that's it, game over. It's really stupid. But, no, they're creatures too. So I guess it's we can all get along, guys, message or something like that. The interesting aspect is they do refer to that there was a civil war with the machines, and that sort of creates the era where they are. And you can look back at the original trilogy where there's some groundwork to this about these exile programs, and the very existence of the Oracle and whatnot were these programs that were not sticking to the plan and were rebelling against them and all this sort of stuff. And that all wraps into it. And the little girl that was part of the exile family and what her father did and all that. Now she's an adult and is a part of the narrative as well here. And that actually works, and it does fit in with what's set up. So the Civil War was inevitable. Kind of should have been more of the story, probably, but oh well. Old Niobe is now in charge of the humans in the new city of Io, I think they called it. And she's just there to be a problem for them as they have to break the rules to go save Trinity, and that's about it. And then eventually she realizes, we got to save Trinity, so they save Trinity. And they go through all that, and they get her and all that. And so, fine. But the whole thing about Trinity being so important, they don't devote enough time to her and her whole setup there. She's set up with a husband and kids, which I guess they're all facsimiles and don't matter. And then she just, wait a minute. Neo's the one I've been waiting for, and just leaves them in a heartbeat. There's not a whole lot given to her and what her life is in this new world, in this new Matrix. And and so it falls rather flat. And then suddenly she's the big savior. She saves Neo from falling, and the end. You know, it's a mess and sloppy, lazy job of it, and none of the little in jokes and whatnot are clever enough to save it. You know, it says, well, Warner Brothers wanted a sequel, so I guess that was it. That was your warning. Is, yeah, this isn't going to be any, because that's all it is. So there you go. That's that. So it was just very underwhelming. I guess you can say, oh, the wokeness is that, Trinity has the power too. I guess, but ultimately it holds them as a couple, that they're a powerful force against the tyranny of the machines and these programs and whatnot. And it leaves it open that altogether they're going to rewrite the Matrix in their own image or what have you. And the analyst doesn't have anything to say about it, I guess. I don't see anything that if this thing was big and successful, then yes, there would be sequels. But even so, I see no reason to do this. There's no story to tell. They're not really exploring any other possibilities or nothing. And that's it. As far as the original trilogy go, which demonstrated this, that there's no story left to tell, I liked the second movie, but only because I was wowed by the cool scenes and stuff. And I thought, wow, here's an interesting handling of a hero who's become seemingly all powerful. And I thought, they found a way to deal with it, but then it just fizzles. And then the third movie is just unnecessary. You could have shrunk that down to 10 minutes and stuck it on the end of the second one. So the problem with Matrix is it was a one-hit wonder. The first movie pretty much encapsulates everything. There's really nothing else to do. And so that's it. And this is just another demonstration of that. And that, I guess, it makes the original trilogy look better. But that's it. The Agent Smith being reintroduced is just awful. I mean, you reintroduce and say, oh, well, this is an important part of between the two of them, of light and dark and good and evil and all that. And no, it just does, and I mean, he's defeated him and they bring him back despite the danger that he would be. He doesn't appear to have his abilities to take over programs anymore, but he knew how to do it in the past. What's to stop him from doing it again? Really nothing. And the actor playing him is not very good. So he's no Hugo Weaving. So, who wisely apparently, I don't know if he was offered or not, but he's just like, no, not doing this. And then they bring back the Merovingian here because they think it's silly. But that's one of those things where he shows up in a scene and they just see that as silly and all of that. But it just, and then more Kung Fu and, nothing. He says, yeah, we got nothing. And that's about it. So to follow Spider-Man with this, especially what Spider-Man has done, which again is another play for nostalgia and whatnot for the celebration of the Spider-Man films. Boy, is there a lot to learn from No Way Home that movies like this should consider, but it's too late for The Matrix. And again, I don't think there's another story to tell in Matrix anyway. But Spider-Man did it right. And Ghostbusters Afterlife did it right too. So there's that too. And of course, Spider-Man is the big winner of the year, just eating up and sucking all the money available, and deservedly so. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's pretty damn good. And the irony of it is, it's actually helped by the era we've lived in for quite a while now of the crappy slap job movies, just with a lot of icing on it. Whereas the Spider-Man movie has way more than that to it. And but still, it seems much better than it probably is. But at this point, I'll take it. And so something like Matrix Resurrections just doesn't stand a chance. And that's that. It's unfortunate. I like Keanu Reeves and everything. But maybe be better to stick with John Wick. Sorry. He'll probably find something else too, but I think Matrix is done.
Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr. Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.